Is self-improvement even worth it? The short answer is fuck yes. The modern world is literally perfectly curated to take as much of your time and attention as it possibly can, and it is designed to keep you as poor as possible, and it's designed to keep you as unhealthy as possible. And I think if you're a guy who currently isn't like actively on self-improvement, you like don't care about it and you think it's cringe or toxic or whatever, then I think you're gonna genuinely struggle. And I think if you clicked on this video, then you're clearly someone who is thinking about whether to go on self-improvement or not, whether it's even worth it, whether it's toxic or whatever. And in this video, I want to try and persuade you and give you my honest thoughts, having been on self-improvement myself for like 3 years now. So every major tech company in the world, Meta, TikTok, Microsoft, Google, right? All of them are in a huge fight to take up your time and attention. Your time, your attention is the most valuable asset, it's the most valuable resource in the world to these companies. Like YouTube, for example, YouTube Shorts get 70 billion views a day. Every single day, 70 billion views. There's 8 billion people in the world, so nearly 10 times the human population per day, right? So that means each person in the world is watching on average 10 shorts a day. So your time and attention is super valuable to these companies. That's how they make all of their money. And if you're not someone who's on self-improvement, I do think you're gonna fall victim to these companies, and you're gonna have your time, your energy, and your attention taken away from you. So why is this even a problem? Well, your focus and your time is the two most valuable resources to you, right? Your time is definitely the most valuable resource in your life. And the second, focus, is incredibly important if you want to be able to work and be productive and work on yourself and live a fulfilling, happy life. I think if you can't focus on things and you're very distracted and you have a short attention span, then that's a very negative thing. And the thing is, a lot of people I know, a lot of my friends, have no attention span, right? Like, people can't even watch a fucking film anymore. Like, they can't sit down and watch a film without going on their phone. That to me is so bad. If you can't sit through Oppenheimer for 3 hours and just watch it and enjoy it, like if you do enjoy that kind of film, obviously if you don't give a fuck about that film, fair. But if you can't like sit and watch it without having to check TikTok, without having to check to see if anyone's messaged you on Instagram, then that's a negative thing, and that's really bad. And it's like basically a fucking requirement these days to be on self-improvement just so that you can avoid having your time and attention stolen from you. So how can self-improvement actually like help you to have your time and attention not be stolen, right? Well, the main thing it's done for me is being on self-improvement for like 2 years managed to push me over the edge to actually remove all social media from my phone. So I don't have any social media apps on my phone anymore, and I've not had social media for literally nearly a year, right? So I think it was June the 6th that I got rid of my social media, and it's now May the 25th. So I've not had social media for a whole year, which is crazy, like to me, because I used to be incredibly addicted to social media, and I don't have any social media now, nearly for a year. That's what self-improvement did for me. So I have more time and I have more attention. I have a higher attention span probably than you, and I have more time to work on making these videos, to go to the gym, to go on walks than you do, which is a benefit. It means I have an advantage over you right now in life, in the ability to become successful. And that's not me having a dig at you. That's me saying, like, why don't you do the same thing, mate? Do you know what I mean? Why don't you delete social media as well, go on a dopamine detox, and you will have the same advantage that I have. Okay, the next thing that is a huge trap in the modern world is the lies about health, the lies about longevity, and the lies about food, right? So the biggest problem that I think, one of the biggest problems in the whole Western world is food, right? So all the shit that you buy from the shops, all the food that you get, look on the back and check the ingredients. If there's more than 2-3 ingredients, don't fucking eat it, right? And you'll find if you go by this rule, this like mantra to only buy whole foods, you won't be able to buy 95% of the stuff in the shop, right? When I learned this information, I literally went to my local shop, went to go get some food in, And I was like, oh my God, I can't even buy bread. Like I used to buy bread, like sourdough bread. I looked on the back of the thing, it had like 30 ingredients. And why is this a problem? You might be thinking, well, Joe, what does this even matter? Yes, right? Look at some of these ingredients on the back of this food packaging. Your body can't digest this shit. This stuff is poisonous. There's preservatives, there's artificial chemicals, there's weird stuff in there that's lowering your testosterone, estrogenic, and it's gonna fuck you up. And this is why I think a lot of people are unhealthy. I think it's why a lot of people actually get depressed genuinely, like from the weird fucking chemicals that are in the food. That's just like a conspiracy theory, but like why would it not be, right? If you're eating like some random chemical that's like been processed and everything, like why would that not have a biological effect on your brain, right? So one of the things that self-improvement's taught me as well is diet and experimenting with my diet, right? A lot of things happen when you go on self-improvement. It'll be self-experimentation. And I've experimented a lot with diet and foods that I eat. And the conclusion that I've come to is that the less carbs I eat and the more whole foods and the less processed foods I eat, the better I feel, the more sharp I am, the more better I can think, the better my physique looks, the better my skin gets, right? I've always had a history of really bad eczema. My eczema's pretty much completely gone since cutting out mainly carbohydrates and eating like whole foods. Basically, just don't eat shit junk food, right? Don't eat crisps, don't eat a chocolate bar, and don't eat like fucking donuts, right? Just don't eat shit food. And I'm not perfect with this, by the way. I'm not saying I'm perfect. Like occasionally I'll relapse and I'll cave in and I'll just eat like a crunchy fucking chocolate bar, right? And that's fine. It's not the end of the world if you eat one or two, but a lot of young guys just eat like Doritos every night. They buy Domino's, the pizza, they just eat this shit all the time. And being on self-improvement is gonna help you to learn about this stuff and to not eat that kind of thing and to try and improve your diet, because you're going to actually want to improve your diet. If you're on self-improvement, right, you're probably going to have to be able to think more sharply. You're probably going to want to be more productive. You're probably going to want to improve your physique. You're probably going to want to improve your mental health, and all of this stuff requires that you clean up your diet. And the last like major thing that just being on self-improvement is going to give you is it's going to allow you to aim for something called self-actualization. And what this is it's part of something called Maslow's hierarchy of like needs. And essentially at the bottom, it starts off with like, okay, food and shelter. And then it goes up to like, okay, relationships, like social, like people around you, like in terms of order of like priority of what you need. And right at the top of the pyramid, that doesn't mean it's the highest priority. It just means it's the thing that like is going to have the most impact, but it's like the hardest to get to, if that makes sense. The thing at the top of the triangle is self-actualization. And what this means is once you have all the basics in life sorted, you've got a roof over your head, you've got food, you've got water, you've got people around you, you're going to be able to start to prioritize other things, right? And that is self-actualization. That is aiming to be the best version of yourself possible. It's purpose. It's aiming to like improve your life for the absolute best version of yourself you can possibly be. Basically the definition of self-improvement, right? Like why would it not be? Because if you're improving yourself, and you can always improve yourself, no one's perfect, so you forever improve yourself, and eventually that's going to reach like a singularity point where you're just the best that you're ever going to be, right? And that's great. So we all need to aim for that. And I think having that orientation, that like goal where you're sort of being like orienting every action in your life towards a big goal is super important. And here's like a little idea that I've been playing with that I just want to share with you. I'm really interested to get your thoughts on this in the comments as well. But I think that self-improvement and self-actualization and like saying to yourself in your head, I am going to be the best version of myself possible, and I'm going to live a purposeful life. If you say that to yourself, I genuinely think this is like similar to how religious people think about God. And you might think, well, that's a bit weird, it's taking a bit of a turn here, like what you're about, right? What I'm talking about is when you are a religious person, which I'm not religious, I'm agnostic, but if you're a religious person, you believe in God, you believe in everything to do with that, right? Whatever, you're a Christian, let's say, then you kind of have to orient all the actions in your life in service of God or what's in the Bible, right? So you have to like abide by the fucking all the different things in the Bible. Right? You know what I mean? You can't sin, you've got to like do certain things, and no sex before marriage, all this kind of thing. So you kind of go off of that, and you're actually like, basically your actions and your everyday behaviors are oriented towards like God, right? That's like your thing. You do things in service of God. So it's like you improving yourself in service of something else. And like for me, self-improvement is like the atheist version of that, where you don't necessarily need a God at the top, but you replace the God with just like the best version of you, and you orient all your actions and your behaviors towards that. So you try and sacrifice things in your life. You try and like be a good person. You try to help other people. You try and improve yourself in terms of like finances. You try and achieve financial freedom. You improve your diet. You don't sin. It's like very similar to like religion almost, but you're just doing it in service of the future you rather than God. And that's just like an interesting kind of parallel that I've found between myself, someone who's been on self-improvement for a long time, and then just like religious people. It's like a really similar like thing, isn't it? It's not too different. You're just sort of changing your actions and your behaviors in service of the future potential you rather than a God, and then if you're religious, that's also fine, because to be fair, being religious and actually like being a good religious person is kind of just this very similar to just being on self-improvement, to be honest. So yeah, I just wanted to give you that kind of analogy between self-improvement and religion, and some people might not agree with me, which is fine. That's just like something that I've come up with, and I don't know if anyone kind of agrees with me on that. And having this like orienting kind of principle in your life where you're aiming towards the best version of you possible for your future self is going to allow you to escape like one of the biggest traps in the modern world, which is this kind of 9-to-5 rat race, office-based jobs, that like one that I'm currently stuck in, right? I'll be honest, I'm currently stuck in it and I'm trying to get out of it. And it's this kind of like work like a slave kind of mentality that we have in the West, where you work Monday to Friday and you just work for someone else, make them rich. And it's like self-improvement for me is a really good way to aim to get out of that situation, because if you're not orienting yourself towards a goal, which could be like financial freedom or retiring your family, like you're not like changing your behaviors in service of something, then how are you ever going to get out of that situation that you're currently in? You need to be chasing a goal, like a target, an end point, and there needs to be a destination. And that's something that self-improvement is going to give you. It's going to give you that drive, it's going to give you that vision, it's going to give you that motivation to aim your life towards a goal. And for me, that's like escaping the rat race, escaping the 9-to-5, achieving financial freedom, helping people along the way, having fun along the way whilst I'm trying to get there. And that's like, for me, that's the goal, right? And I think if you're not on self-improvement, you don't have a goal like that, or a vision, or like a purpose, or somewhere that you try to get to, you're just gonna end up staying in the rat race. You're gonna end up in the 9-to-5 forever, working the same job, doing the same shit. And like, last thing I'll just say is, I've been on self-improvement for 3 years. I literally could not like envision not being on self-improvement now. It's weird, because like when I think back, I used to just be a dude who just had a job, played video games and like watched porn, and like didn't have anywhere that was going. Do you know what I mean? I had no end point. I was still trying to make money online, and I still like try to run businesses, but none of them ever worked. The only business that's like been working is this YouTube channel, and that's because I've been like very strictly on self-improvement in the time period I've been running the channel. And I just think like, how can someone not be on self-improvement? Like, I don't get it. And the whole point of this video is for me to just like try and persuade you, like, you know, self-improvement's definitely worth it. Like, I've been on it for a long time now. I'm happier than I've ever been. I'm more productive than I've ever been. I feel like I'm going places. I feel like my every day that I'm awake and working has meaning and is putting me closer towards my goal. And I just don't understand how you couldn't be on it. And you know, I've got friends who are now on self-improvement. I've got other friends who aren't, and I can see the difference in the two kind of sides. You know, like some people who are like doing shit and like actually getting out of the house and like working on something, being productive, and like, look, they're gonna go places, do you know what I mean? And then I know other guys who probably aren't gonna go anywhere, you know, and haven't really achieved much in their life and don't look like they're gonna achieve much in their life. And I think it is just because they're not on self-improvement. They've not consciously made that decision to themselves to go and improve their life and aim towards something. It's like Jordan Peterson says, aim higher, aim up, right? That's what he says. He just says, aim up. And I think that's right. That's self-improvement. Just aim up. Don't just plod along doing the same shit in life. You need to aim upwards. You need to aim for something. And yeah, hopefully this video has given you that and persuaded you to sort of do that. So yeah, thank you for watching the video, mate. Hope you got some value out of that. And yeah, keep improving yourself every day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.